I've been meaning to make a video about friends for a minute. Just multiple parts of friendship. Friendship breakups, also about like the idea of the quote unquote strong friend, and also about tough love and like being a friend that has harsh things to say, or like tough feedback for friends when they're telling you things they're going through. I heard myself say something recently to a friend of mine. Like, I said it out loud, and it was just an extremely harsh statement. Like, you ever heard yourself say something that was like, damn, I just said that? And you didn't have like a visceral reaction to what I said, or you didn't think that was crazy as fuck that I said that, or that didn't hurt your feelings? And of course, I didn't say it with the intent to hurt my friend's feelings, but when I heard myself say it, when I actually heard me talking to them, it made me question why I felt I had to talk to my friend that way. It made me wonder, like, just in general, and also other friends have said to me, like, damn, I would hate to hear what you say about me. One of my friends said that once, and that didn't feel good. Because of course, I love my friends, and I take friendship very seriously, but I also have placed this responsibility on myself, I think. I parentified myself in a lot of my friendships in the name of quote unquote being the strong friend, which is why I've always hated that term. I don't think we need strong friends. I don't think people have strong friends. I think a lot of us who classify ourselves as strong friends are people who have assumed responsibility of grown-ass people in relationships, because we have assumed that or related care to love. And we've correlated those two things, and we don't know how to separate them. So now we've assumed that the only way that you can show up for people in relationship is to give care, right? And I think those things, care and love, are similar things. Like, in order to love someone, you do have to sometimes provide care for them, but care itself is not a all-encompassing way to show love.
I tried to make a big distinction in that book between care and love, that like saying that my parents cared for me deeply, and care is important. A lot of children don't receive any care, but it's only one ingredient of love. Now, it is not love.
Like, providing care for someone, caring for a friend is not a love language or an expression of total love in a way. I don't think I'm articulating that well, but I hope I made the point. But yeah, I need to put some more weight on this too. But I think about that, like, I don't want my friends to feel like I'm always gonna be quote unquote the strong friend. Maybe if I start showing myself the care that I'm asking for from friends, the care that I'm giving them, like overextending yourself and doing things that a parent would do for a friend, then you won't feel the need to have like that quote unquote strong friend checkup. Like, when I see those damn things, they get on my nerves. Check on your strong friends. That is so annoying. But yeah, that just makes me feel kind of sad for that, like sad for myself in that way, that I used to think, oh, it's like you become the victim in that instance, because you're saying, oh, check on your strong friends, make sure you're looking out for them. So you victimize yourself because no one's looking out for you or giving you the care that you give them, which is because you're people pleasing in a way. Well, I was people pleasing. I should use language about me. I think that for me, the reason I don't like the correlation or the understanding of being like a quote unquote strong friend is because being a strong friend cost self-maintenance, self-care, and self-love for me, like in my own life. And if being strong for somebody else requires self-sacrifice of myself, then that's not a commitment that I think I'm willing to make, because I need to be, if I'm cared for in a way that makes my cup feel full and makes me feel good and sufficient in my own capacity, then I can be a better friend for you and show up for you when you need me to, and be there how you need me to, if I'm not like dependent upon the value that I get from my life being upon the way that I show up for you, or the value of our friendship being determined by the way that I show up for you. So yeah, disband that strong friend shit. I hate that term. TBH. Nobody needs strong friends. Everybody needs to be stronger friends and be better friends to each other and themselves. Hello there from American Airlines flight number 1978, headed to Dallas, Texas. I think a lot of times when I was using that description of myself, it was me parentifying myself and really not knowing how to exist in relationship without the baseline value of my
least in the relationship, being the way in which I only get value. I guess the extraction of the value of the relationship for me came from how I could show up for someone, how I could care for them, and not just us being friends, not just being a person that can sit on a couch with somebody and not do anything all day. Like, I'm always going to show up, brother. I shouldn't say that. Show up when the things that I'm invited to, or show up for graduations or weddings or large celebrations of your life, but not just being somebody that can exist, right? The one that we can just, if the only thing that we do is go for walks together in the park on Sundays, or the only thing we do is kind of like hang out as friends. I think learning how to become that person has been the thrust of this kind of like a newfound purpose, I guess, in friendship, and found understanding of what it means to just like be that type of friend. And I think that's the way that I desire friendship in general. Like, I don't want to be the person that has to always base the value of my relationship in care. And I think it comes from rooted in like people pleasing, of course. Like, the way that I learned to socialize as a child was to parentify myself, and also like adults found solace and comfort in the fact that I was quote unquote older than my years, and like I could be trusted with more responsibility and more like things to do than cousins or friends or siblings. But the tough love friend, or the friend that's always providing like harsh feedback to people, I think that's not something that's admirable, and it's something I really used to like pride myself on. I used to be someone that's like, oh, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm that friend that's going to like be the one to give you that hard love. But sometimes people don't need to hear that. And it like made me realize like, damn, that's how I sound to the people that I say I love the most, the people that I say I care about the most. Like, that's the way that I talk to them. Like, that's not cool. It's not a good feeling to make someone feel that way. And even with like being like the tough love friend, like I also don't think that's like something I really desire. If the best thing I can say to you is something that like the tough truth you need to hear, and sometimes you just don't need to hear anything at all. Sometimes it's better just to be quiet as a friend, and not to be the person that just adds to that situation and adds to whatever it is they're dealing with. So I don't know, I think we don't need strong friends, but maybe sometimes too we don't need like the friend that's always going to be the person to give you that quote unquote tough love. I feel like we get enough tough love in the world. There's enough people trying to make people stronger and tougher and harder and humble you and break you down. And I think as I'm growing in my personhood, I desire to be the friend that shows up and holds space with people in a better way, while also honoring myself enough to give myself the love and care that I need to be who I need to be as a person, so I can show up for myself and my friends, but also just showing up for them in a way that doesn't make them feel like I'm always judging or critiquing or even just like inviting space for criticism into our conversations all the time. So something to consider as it relates to friendships, for sure. And then finally, talking about friendship breakups, I recently had a friendship of mine. And then finally just thinking about the way that we show up as friends and like when friendships end. I recently had a friendship of mine end that was one of my longest relationships in a friendship that I've had for a while, and it bothered me for a while when the relationship initially ended because of a myriad of things. But then when I really sat with it and thought about like, and then when the relationship ended, I really had to sit with like, one, how do I make sure I never make someone feel this way again? And then two, kind of what things could have went differently and how the relationship dissolved, or the relationship getting to the point of dissolve. How could I have handled that differently? Like, I'm someone who takes friendship very seriously. And I think that I take friendship probably more seriously in some instances than other relationships in my life. And so when the relationship did come to an end, I kind of kept replaying like, well, damn, should we talk about it? Should we have handled this here? When did these, like, there were just so many questions left unresolved and unknown. And then when I just kind of sat through and talked through with my therapist about like why I was feeling the things that I was feeling, it had a lot more to do with like me like wanting to close the relationship. The closure from it had a lot more to do with me and a lot less to do with the relationship itself and or the person that I was dealing with. And so I think the friendship, rather, the friend that I was no longer friends with. So I think that a lot of the lesson from it in me was just to kind of like, you're only in control of yourself. You're only in control of what you do, how you show up, the type of friend that you are, and I can only take the lessons from that relationship ended. It kind of taught me the value of communicating things up front and making sure that you're checking in with your friends to see how they feel about how you're showing up for them, and kind of also what you may need from them and what you maybe need to give them more of. But also it kind of taught me the value of grace, and the value of being able to extend it and be able to be a recipient of it, and the importance of it in order to maintain relationships, because we're not going to get it right all the time. We're in different seasons, different spaces of life in general, and it's up to us to decide when and whether to give grace and to communicate our need for it, because it determines how and when and whether or not relationships will continue and persist. But all in all, I think, I have a lot to learn about friendships and relationships in general, but I think I'm unlearning the responsibility of the strong friend. I'm unlearning the responsibility of the tough love friend, and I'm learning to lead with grace and to ask for grace when I need it. But yeah, that's all I got this time. See y'all later. Peace.